From MontanaSports.com, this is MTN Sports Extra.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Sports Extra on a Saturday night. Tom Wiley here. Thanks for joining us. The march toward the FCS championship continued Friday nights when the #1 ranked Montana State Bobcats put their undefeated record up against the University of Idaho. MTN's Grace Lawrence was on the sidelines at Bobcat Stadium and shows us how the quarterfinal matchup between Big Sky rivals played out.
MTN Sports' Grace Lawrence here at Bobcat Stadium following a Friday Night Lights Big Sky After Dark showdown where the Bobcats rolled to a 52-19 win over Idaho. The second time this season, the Bobcats rolled to a big win over the Vandals. Adam Jones with 4 touchdowns in the win. Jones' relentless effort to find the end zone propelled his team into the FCS semifinals and gave him the program's freshman rushing record and freshman touchdown record for a single season while he was at it.
Anytime you can get the end zone, it's awesome, especially, being at Bobcat Stadium, scoring a touchdown. There's no better feeling than that. But yeah, I think that record is kind of just speaks to this team, speaks to the offense as a whole. I think having Tommy as my quarterback helps me out a lot in terms of running the ball. So yeah, I think that record is really a product of a bunch of dudes other than me. So
speaking of Malott, QB1 threw for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns, coupled with 131 yards on the ground and a rushing touchdown of his own. What was most critical was his ability to convert on third down. The Bobcats went 11 for 15, while the Vandals went 2 for 10.
11 for 15 is really good. And I think about some of those plays, probably Tommy in particular, in those longer yardage situations early. Those are significant plays that he made.
Ultimately, I think that made the difference tonight. Was our third down. So I think it's just a testament to our coaching staff giving us great opportunities to be successful, and then guys going out there and executing.
Despite the game being tied at 7 all at the end of the first quarter, Montana State settled in and scored a combined 38 points between the second and third, while holding Idaho to only a field goal during that time. 2 back-to-back plays were key for MSU in stretching their lead. They converted touchdowns after a failed onside kick by the Vandals that gave MSU prime field position, followed by a fumble recovery from Brody Greavy.
The middle 8 is extremely important, and that was the differentiator tonight for sure.
Now the Bobcats head to the semifinals for their 4th appearance in 5 seasons, and Vigen's 3rd as the head coach. Something earned but expected now for this program.
When we made the semifinals, we advanced. I think we set a new expectation of where we want to be in this program. So. You're not guaranteed that just because you want it, but I think this is our expectation that we're playing deep into the season. We're creating opportunities to play in big games, and that's where we're at right now.
Malott showed more emotion than ever before in his career these past 2 playoff games, something noted by his teammates as well.
Playoff games are sweet now as a senior. You're not guaranteed anything more than that moment right then. So, to not celebrate, to not enjoy the moment for the summation of 4.5 years in college for work, and see, an outcome, and you have to enjoy it, and you have to cherish it.
They'll face the 4 seed South Dakota in the semifinals at Bobcat Stadium next Saturday. In Bozeman, Grace Lawrence, MTN Sports.
Well, football season came to a close at Montana last weekend following a loss to South Dakota State in the FCS playoffs. And now the Grizz begin building for next fall. MTN's Kyle Hansen looks at the season that was and where the Grizzlies go from here.
Well, the 2024 season is officially in the books for the Montana Grizzlies. It's a season where expectations were through the roof coming off of last year's run to the FCS National Championship, and ends in disappointment with a second-round exit and lots of questions heading into the offseason. 2024 felt like a mirrored image of 2022 for the Grizz, as the preseason favorites to win the Big Sky Conference and ranked number 3 in the country, but ends early at 9-5. The Grizz possessed one of the top offenses in the country to start Big Sky play, but fell off completely by the end of it, as the 2-quarterback system with Logan Fife and Kali'i Ayat struggled to find consistency. After struggling in a big way early, the UM defense found improvement down the stretch run of the season, but couldn't overcome the offense's inability to put up points. Bad losses to North Dakota and Weber State defined the early part of the season. Then, when lined up against some of the best teams in the FCS this year, like UC Davis, Montana State, and South Dakota State, those issues were glaring and showed the Grizz have a long way to go. UM will bid goodbye to 26 seniors, including a number of impact talents who helped the program win a lot, especially in 2023.
A bunch of hard-fought kids, love the game, love to compete, love each other. I think we did a good job exemplifying that. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world. These guys mean the world to me. I love every single one of these guys on this team and the coaches as well. It's been a hell of a ride.
It's been awesome coming here as a walk-on. I had no idea anything about this place and just very appreciative that I was taken in with open arms and treated like family. It's just been special to be a part of this program.
It could be an eventful offseason for Montana. The biggest questions going forward surround if any coaching changes will be made after falling short. And with the transfer portal now officially open, who else will depart from the program, as 2 starters have already entered? After hitting on very few transfers this year, the Grizz will be focused on having better luck in the portal this go-around when bringing players in this cycle. Plus, how will the new recruits fit into the program, as they've already signed their early high school class with 16 signees? But it all stems back to finding or developing someone at the quarterback position and filling a number of glaring holes on both sides of the ball. The clock starts now for Montana, with all roads leading up to next year's opener against Central Washington. Reporting in Missoula, Kyle Hansen, MTN Sports.
Still to come, big checks and championship buckles on the line in Las Vegas. We'll take you to the final round of the National Finals Rodeo when Sports Extra continues.
Welcome back to MTN Sports Extra, powered by MontanaSports.com.
It's been another impressive showing from Montana Cowboys and Cowgirls at the 2024 National Finals Rodeo. And Saturday night, a few had a chance to close the world's richest rodeo in style with big checks and world titles. MTN's Scott Breen recaps round number 10 from Las Vegas.
Welcome back to Las Vegas, everybody, as the dust settles on rodeo's most prestigious event, Title Night at the National Finals. It's very simple. Win the most money in your event throughout the year, and you're a world champion. Let's open it up in the bareback. One Texas Cowboy over another. Utah's Dean Thompson. His first NFR world title, he wins over $412,000. Columbus PRCA Rookie of the Year, Weston Timberman, only 20 years old, scores 88 tonight, 4th in the average, 7th in the world. Buffalo, Wyoming's Cole Reiner, 10th in the world, and this is Stevensville's Richie Champion, finishing 13th. Bulldogging, how about a Minnesota Cowboy? J.D. Struxness, chasing his first title, and he got it with consistency. Former Montana State Cowboy Jesse Brown, 3.4 tonight. That wins the round. He is 6th in the world. Helena world champion Ty Erickson, 14th in the world, 14th in the average. In the team roping, one of the tightest races ever. Header Tyler Wade, heeler Wesley Thorpe, back-to-back world champions. And in the saddle bronc, you can make it 3 gold buckles for the man in blue. Utah's Ryder Wright aboard All or Nothing. He takes it all with over $500,000 this season. Wyoming's Brody Kress, 3 average titles, number 5 in the world this year. Melstone's Sage Newman, he is as good as any cowboy down the road. Strong finish tonight, 11th in the world. Powell's Brody Wells, a first-time qualifier, final 8-second ride of the season, and he places number 10 in the world. To the tie-down roping, Riley Webb, trying to become a repeat champion at only 21 years old, nails it. Up with the hands, down with the flag, back-to-back gold buckles for the Texas Cowboy. Miles City's Haven Medjid won it all in 2019, took the average a year ago, places 3rd in the average this year, and 3rd in the world. Barrel racing, Cassie Mowry, the 42-year-old Texas cowgirl, earns her first world championship. And, of course, fan favorite Lisa Lockhart, the event's all-time money winner with over $3 million, 10th in the average, 10th in the world. Bull riding, Utah's Josh Frost. This man was runner-up the last 3 years, not this time. Over $500,000 this season for his first gold buckle. This was his round 6 ride for 90 points. Josh Frost, first-time bull riding champion. In Las Vegas, Scott Breen, MTN Sports.
While the eyes of the rodeo world are on the Thomas and Mack Center elsewhere in Las Vegas, tomorrow's rodeo stars were tearing up the arena at the Junior World Finals. MTN's Derek Joseph introduces us to a cowboy from Columbia Falls with a blindingly bright future.
At 16 years old, Azriel Lara is the reigning two-time bareback riding junior world champion for the Northern Rodeo Association. Growing up in a family that is heavily involved in rodeo, Lara rode on his first horse at 11 years old, and from that moment he was determined to become the best bareback rider he could be.
When he first started, I mean, he watched YouTube video after YouTube video and, taught himself how to get off, how to, do it safely and stuff, so it, his confidence helps me.
In a sport like bareback riding, you have to be physically prepared to be successful, and you have to love what you do.
Oh, it's a lot of whiplash on your it's arm yanking and head bobbing and just, I don't know, I think it's fun. It's just other people think it's fun too.
Along with physical preparation, there is also mental preparation that Lara has to work on in order to gain the confidence he needs to stay on a bucking bronc. And he has a support system that helps him along the way.
I put a lot of hours into it. And like my grandpa helped me, and just a lot of people helped me get to where I'm at right now.
Fidel Alejandre isn't just Lara's grandfather, but one of his coaches too. To help Lara and other rodeo enthusiasts train, Alejandre and fellow community members built a practice facility in Columbia Falls. Alejandre says the facility chutes are a valuable asset to the community and that Lara wants to set an example for other riders who practice at his home.
He's always been a kid that once he sets his mind to do something, he does it. And I tell all the kids, if you want something, you have to dedicate the time. And it takes time. And it takes courage and it takes dedication to become something.
Lara's hard work in the chutes has helped him achieve 2 straight junior world titles, which is a feat those around him are proud to watch.
It means a lot, like when you hear his score is, like being that high and you just know he has it, it's just what he's worked all year for.
Reporting in Columbia Falls, I'm Derek Joseph, MTN Sports.
Still to come, the first major event of the high school wrestling season hits the mats in the mining city. Sports Extra continues after the break.
Welcome back to MTN Sports Extra, powered by MontanaSports.com.
We won't crown state wrestling champions until the all-class tournament in Billings in February, but events like the season-opening Mining City Duels in Butte offer a glimpse of how the season might play out. MTN's Luke Shelton has more from the Mining City.
MTN's Luke Shelton out here at the Butte Civic Center, and for nearly 4 decades, the Gym Street Mining City Duels have heralded the start of the high school wrestling season.
I mean, it's our crown jewel, it's the most exciting thing of the year. Wrestling, it's a tough sport, and being in our hometown in front of our home crowd, there's nothing like it.
Started in 1988 by Coach Jim Street, it made perfect sense for Butte to host a major meet that included all of the AA programs. Back then, Street and the Bulldogs were in the midst of building a wrestling dynasty as they claimed 13 straight championships between 1980 and 1992. But it wasn't until after he had retired that his name was attached to the event.
It was a nice thing for the people in Butte to ask the school board, I guess is what they did, if they'd rename it. I was very happy and honored, more so than anything, to have that happen, and we're still here.
Having the Mining City Duels bear his name may have been a pleasant surprise to Jim Street, but considering the impact he had on the sport of wrestling in Montana during his 22 years at the helm, it wasn't a shock to others.
This event's named after him for a reason. He is, he left a pretty big record to try to catch up to.
This year, 23 Montana and 1 Idaho team tangled on the mats. And for the hometown wrestlers, there was a true sense of pride in carrying on this tradition that was started 36 years ago.
You hear all the time about Street and his teams and his legacy that he put Butte through the 13 years consecutive, but it's truly an honor.
And for this meet's namesake, well, he's just happy to see the sport he loves continuing to flourish in the Treasure State.
Boy, I tell you, as an ex-coach, I really appreciate everything that everybody has done for the sport of wrestling here and continue to do.
And for full championship results, visit montanasports.com. In Butte, Luke Shelton, MTN Sports.
When we come back, Class AA programs open the 2024-25 basketball season. We have highlights from across the state coming your way on Sports.
Welcome back to MTN Sports Extra, powered by MontanaSports.com.
The AA basketball season tipped off this weekend with non-conference games pitting teams from the West against their Eastern counterparts. MTN's Johnny Walker leads off our coverage in the capital city.
Well, we've got two boys basketball home season openers going on at the exact same time tonight here in Helena. We'll be getting to both of them, and first up, it's Capitol High hosting Bozeman Gallatin. Tight first quarter, kick out to the open shooter, and bang! They call it a long two for Connor Toivonen, who gets Capitol on the board. Gallatin coming down the lane now, and why not dump it off to your 6'6" trail man for a big two. Late first quarter, and here's Brenton Belzer with the step back splash. Talk about degree of difficulty. Second quarter now, and that's a tough drive and finish from Carter Dolke. Raptors would lead by 5 at the half and ultimately hold on for a season-opening W. Over to Helena High now, where the Bozeman Hawks are attempting to put together a late comeback. Christian Malloy gets him 2 points closer there, but here come the Bengals. That's senior Tevin Wetzel getting out in transition. And tell me if this looks familiar, as this time Wetzel dishes it off for Dylan Mosnes for the finish. And here's one more Bengal bucket from Madden Spalding as the Helena High Bengals emerge victorious at home. And for all of our high school basketball coverage, make sure you're keeping up with us over at MontanaSports.com. Reporting in Helena, Johnny Walker, MTN Sports.
AA high school girls basketball officially tipped off the season last night. And today the Great Falls Lady Bison host Glacier, while the CMR Lady Rustlers welcome in Flathead.
Bison get things rolling in this one. A little sophomore connection as Scarlett Harris finds Kendall Gosner for the game's first bucket. Wolfpack answer quickly. Open for three is Reese Ramey, and the senior will drain it. Glacier back on offense. Ramey looking for options, and open down low is Maddie Stevens, and all she has to do is put in the layup. Bison looking for an answer as Harris dishes off to Kennedy Mora, and she'll hit the triple with a clean swish. Third quarter now, and it's Mora again. Glacier makes a mistake, leaving her open as she makes the Wolfpack pay with a splash. Harper Dirk looking to drive to the basket. Feeds Scarlett Harris, who makes a sweet move and gets to the hoop. Bison down by 5 points late fourth quarter. Ball movement leaves Mora open again, and she'll hit another one. Ensuing pass, and Scarlett Harris has a steal, but she steps out of bounds. And Glacier is able to seal off a victory thanks to Ramey finding Stevens. Wolfpack win 36-32. On the other side of town, CMR up 45-43 with 30 seconds left to play. Flathead has the ball. Ava Malman open for three. She nails it. The Bravettes take a 1-point lead with 12 seconds to play. Ensuing Rustler possession, they'll get a really good look at a potential game-leading shot, but it's instead a costly turnover with only a couple seconds left to play. CMR is forced to foul, and all the Bravettes have to do is let the clock run out, which they do. Flathead wins a thriller 46-45. Will Charlton, MTN Sports.
And that's all the time we have for this edition of Sports Extra. Remember, the conversation continues at MontanaSports.com with features, recaps, highlights, photo galleries, and much, much more. Have a great night. We'll see you next weekend on Sports Extra.